Mission Debrief. We've played every mission of the mainline Halo video games, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games in the franchise in chronological order. Each episode will be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be finishing up our discussion on Spartan Assault on the next episode. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. You can also receive a free audiobook trial by visiting audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. This episode, we're debriefing the 5 main operations included in Halo Spartan Assault. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
I'd like to officially apologize to Halo Spartan Assault for all the shade that I've been throwing at it for years.
I think I need to join that sentiment.
I'm sorry. I had a lot of fun. I went into
boy. Huh?
I sat down to the game and I'm like, shit, I gotta play this dumb game.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
remember you complaining about it.
After a couple missions, I'm like, oh shit, this is really fun. I feel bad now.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
This will be a fun episode then. Awesome.
Yeah.
Since this is our first debrief on I guess we're going to do 2 episodes on this thing. So why don't, Krista, you give a quick overview of Spartan Assault, developer, all that sort of fun stuff we always do.
Okay, here's some fun stuff for you guys. The developer is Vanguard Games and, of course, 343 Industries. The original release date was July 13th, 2013 for Windows 8, PC, tablet, and phone. Mm-hmm. The number of missions is 5 main operations with 5 missions each, and a 6th DLC operation with 5 more missions. And those DLC operations were released on Xbox One December 23rd, 2013. So we didn't have to wait long to get a little bit of extra DLC. Mm-hmm. The Metacritic score is 70, which I think is pretty fair considering what this game is.
Yep. And that was the highest because Metacritic rates it on each platform. So some of the platforms didn't receive as high, like the Xbox One version of it didn't receive as high of a rating. But this is for like the PC, the original release.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little bit of a different thing. So anyway.
So platform and difficulty. Colin is on PC. David and Krista, which is me. We are playing it on Xbox One through Game Pass. And there is only 1 difficulty, but there are skulls that you can use to kind of modify your experience, which I didn't use.
Yeah, I didn't either.
The Halo timeline covered is 2554. The versions that are available for you to play right now are Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Steam. Microsoft decided to take the iPad version out to the back, and it went the way.
You can also get it in the Windows store too. I didn't include that, but you said that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a bit of marketing for this, just a tiny bit. It wasn't like super hype or anything like that. I remember being aware of it when it came out, but it wasn't one of those huge releases like you get when you get one of the numbered Halo games. Because
we were doing, Podcast Evolved was around when this released, right?
Yeah.
2013?
2013?
So...
No, we were like 2014, right?
Because
2013 I was still in high school. Mm-hmm. So there was no way.
How old are we? I think we're almost... What year is it? My God.
I don't know. It's 2020. We either started in 2014 or 2015. I can't remember.
Well, maybe we're 5 or 6 this year. We're always born. We're born around E3 time.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. God damn. Should not find that out.
Yeah, maybe we should know when we started the podcast.
Yeah. Details.
Whatever. Semantics.
It's been discussed. The game has been discussed on the podcast over the years. Though.
Yeah.
This is my point.
Probably very briefly. I'm not sure. I don't think we really made any kind of attempt to really cover the game up until now. So, other than that marketing, there was a tie-in with Halo Initiation and Loot Crate. You received a free copy of the comic when you entered your Loot Crate code, which I'm guessing was in the game UI.
Yep. Yeah, there's in the PC version of it that you can do that. Probably on the iPad version, which doesn't exist anymore. But
And Halo Initiation's just a little bit more about Palmer. which is what this game is about, and some guy named Davis. I don't know who that guy is.
We'll talk about Davis in a little bit.
Poor Davis.
So, some additional notes about the game. Monetization is now disabled, so they cannot take your hard-earned schmeckles. So, do not try to throw money.
Only once when you purchase it.
Yeah,
if you
of
purchase
course.
it.
Yeah. Which, if you get Game Pass, you'll get it anyway. Just get Game Pass. You can buy credits to purchase You could buy credits to purchase upgrades in the game, which we all don't like, so I'm glad it's gone. It did have a little bit of integration with Halo 4. Players can unlock experience points, new achievements, and emblems for their Halo 4 account, as well as weapon skins, armor skins, and a stance. So a little bit of goodies to kind of make sure that you're at least checking it out and playing it. What else do we got? We got achievements. There are a couple achievements. There's some medals, 32 medals possible. The game keeps track of which medals you've earned. Leaderboards, challenges, weekly challenges, and mission-specific challenges. Where do you see the mission challenges? Because I remember getting them, but I'm like, I didn't know this existed. How do I see that?
It's called Assault Ops.
Yes, on Xbox One, it's called Assault Ops. I fired it up last night just to see how it was, and it's called Challenges on PC, but it's, for some reason, Assault Ops on Xbox One.
Okay, so there are 3 of these per mission. Each awards XP that can be used to upgrade your weapons. So, interesting. As I mentioned before, there was the comic Halo Initiation that kind of leads into this about Palmer's origin, and then some escalation stuff that also coincides with the story going on here. And that's about it. Now you know everything about Spartan Assault. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Krista.
Very nice, thank you. So I'm going to give my kind of the last mission, and then kind of what we're doing here. Then we'll cover off on a quick overview of the game itself, and then we'll start walking through the different operations. We're not going to walk through each individual mission of each operation. We're just going to say, okay, here's what happens in this operation, and then we're going to talk about the highlights, our favorite playthroughs or favorite encounters and whatnot from each one. All right, so the last mission, according to the timeline, was Halo from Halo 3. If you remember, that was at 2552, leading into 2553. This takes place. There's no specific dates in this, which I'll talk about at some point.
I did see a note written down the very end of the Halo media page, and it just says Roland was activated on December 5th, 2557, roughly 5 months after the first Battle of Requiem, to replace Infinity's previous AA, Anya. The game's framing story thus takes place after the event of Halo 4's campaign, though when it occurs in relation to Spartan Ops is unclear, because in Halo Escalation indicates that Infinity returned directly to Earth after Requiem's destruction, suggesting that the framing of the narrative takes place in the gap between Roland's creation and the second Battle of Requiem.
Yeah.
There you go.
So why don't we just talk about that really quick before I dive into the last mission stuff. So the way that this game is portrayed, we're in Spartan training as we're playing this game, and so Roland is administering that training to these Spartans, and I think they're literally on an iPad or something, a tablet of some sort, like experiencing these stories
along
Spartan.
with
us. Yeah, you are the Spartan, David.
Yeah, that's right. You are in the shoes of a Spartan as you're playing it. And so it's interesting that they took that approach, but I feel like it takes away a little bit of the stakes, because you're like, the way they frame it up is like, okay, you're a Spartan, you're playing as a Spartan, replaying a story. You're not really experiencing the story firsthand, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it does take a little of the stakes away from my mind. It's kind of a cool thing, because it's like, okay, they could be using these encounters as a training exercise, as like a tactical, class, I guess. But yeah, so the way that, to David's point, is Roland is around in 2557, so he's the one that's talking about Draetheus V. But Draetheus V, all these missions happened back in 2554. Okay, so the last mission as Draetheus V happened would have been Halo and Halo 3. And in that mission, Chief and Arby crash landed a Pelican on the Installation 04 replacement ring fought through the flood and teamed up with Sergeant Johnson to activate the ring and devastate the Ark. John 117 destroyed 343 guilty Spark after he went crazy and murdered Johnson. Chief and Arby made their escape to the Forward Unto Dawn ahead of the wake of destruction, but only Thel Vadam made it back to Earth. Chief settled in for a cryo nap while Cortana searched for a way home. And then now in these missions, this is kind of my brief overview. A Covenant splinter sect violates the Treaty of 2552 and attacks UNSC forces stationed on Draetheus V. The planet's moon is discovered to be a Forerunner creation that can both build and destroy planets. Spartan Davis and Palmer lead the effort to stop the Covenant from harnessing the devastating technology and repel the invasion. As I said, this is sometime, there's no specific dates, but it's sometime in 2554. As you guys came back to this game, did you remember anything from the story?
No. But
I remember that the stupid Spartan is in it, and that there is a second nobody Spartan, and that's pretty much it. And I remember the kind of military maps at the beginnings. There was all arrows and stuff swooping around. That's pretty much what I remembered. I didn't remember anything else at all.
The only time I got like one of those, I don't know, either deja vu moments or nostalgic moments or just, oh, I remember this, was at the very end when I was fighting the boss. I'm like, oh, I remember this. I didn't remember anything else.
Oh, really? Funny. So, just a comment on your dig at Palmer. Remember how I
Palmer
came in
this game? I didn't even realize.
Remember I kind of jumped on board finally, like, head first into Halo right around 2012 when Halo 4 came out. And so Halo 4 came out, and then this came out, and the comic book came out, and and Spartan Ops was there too. So there was a whole lot of Palmer content out there. And so right when I jumped on board, that's part of the reason I think that I appreciate her. I feel like I appreciate her a lot more than you guys do.
Meh, they're better.
Because
they're better
there's so much Spartan Palmer stuff, and there's a whole big story. And then this game shows how badass she is. So I feel like that's part of the reason that she's one of my favorites. The mission selection screen, I agree, is a little confusing, and the other note is there's a ton of story just crammed into this little tiny game. Brian Reed, and I don't know if I wrote down the other name, but Brian Reed, one of the major writers from Halo, was behind a lot of this on the writing standpoint. And they crammed so much story, but you kind of have to seek it out because there's those little interstitial, intro videos to each operation that are okay. They're interesting. They're well done, but they're really quick, right? And they don't tell you a whole lot of the story. But then when you go into each individual mission within the operation, there is a nice long write-up. So if you're soaking all of that in and sitting down and reading all that, there is a pretty decent story here that's being told. But if you're just going through and playing the missions, it's just strung along a bunch of shooting aliens, really.
Yeah.
I don't know, what did you guys think of the overall, I guess, how they framed up the story, how it was being told?
I think that no one's going to read it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of reading involved to understand what's going on, which it's not even that much, but every mission has like a paragraph or two that you need to read to understand what's going on, and I think it is hard to get someone who wants to play a video game and sit down and relax to read.
Yeah.
So I do not think that is the best strategy to tell a story. Plus, the story is super interesting, and it's almost a little bit of a waste that it is kind of hidden in this game.
It's there, but you have to seek it out. Like, you have to sit down and read all those.
You have to work for it, and normal people don't want to work for it.
It's not too bad, because when you consider about, like, a lot of RPGs have you reading a lot of stuff. So, like, it's not that bad. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, but you go into an RPG expecting to read a lot. You don't necessarily go into a twin-stick shooter thinking that you're going to be reading.
Okay, but you don't go into a twin stick shooter, I don't think, for story anyway.
No, you go
in a nutshell. But I thought the motion graphics were pretty cool. I liked their incorporation because it does tie in to what like Halo 4 did and 5 afterwards, you know. So I thought that was cool, and they got all the voice actors back and all of them. There's like maybe 2 that you would recognize, you know, by Roland and Palmer. So I thought that was cool. A bit more of them maybe, but like I know each mission has one, which is cool. Maybe they could have done a little bit more afterwards. I don't know. The missions, like the operations, seem separate, even though I know they're actually part of one narrative. I don't know, but they feel too segregated. With the common trope of like maybe Draetheus V thrown in or whatever, this location name. But anyway, I didn't mind it too much, but I didn't think the reading was that great either.
Yeah, there's a lot of little nuance. I mean, it's written in a very Brian Reed style. So for whatever that's worth, there are scoring goals also, and I think David, you did pretty well in this game. You sent us a couple scores.
Oh my god, David!
I don't know what it was, but I was channeling my inner Krista. I was just going crazy, man. Like there was a few missions where Go on.
You're the king of twin sticks shooters. It's okay.
That's right.
I give you the crown.
Krista has RTS covered.
Yeah, you can have this one, Dave. I saw your scores and I'm like, I didn't get anything near that.
If you do go on the leaderboard in Xbox One, because we're friends in Xbox One, you can kind of see where everybody ranks.
Oh no.
And Oren was number 1 on quite a few of them, but then all of a sudden, like towards the end, David started taking over when you're going through all the missions.
Oh yeah.
So
I didn't notice that leaderboard. Was that on? Is it on the game?
In the menu, yeah, the main menu. It's in there.
Should have checked it out.
So the scoring there are a couple achievements that are tied into the scoring, and you know that leaderboard. If you want to challenge, your friends for the top score, if you want to get gold on everything, the skulls play into that a bit. The multipliers that they have. Then there's boosters there's a score booster that you could buy. But now that the monetization is disabled, you have to purchase those boosters with the XP. So I'd imagine there's a point if you buy all the XP. Well, no, I think you could probably get XP you must get XP after each mission, because then there's when you do the challenges or what do you call them, assault ops. They're also when you meet those certain requirements, you'll get XP from checking one of those off your list as well. So, yeah, you can just grind out XP if you want, I guess. At the beginning of each mission, you can upgrade your weapon loadout as well, and you get the base weapons like a shotgun and a plasma pistol. But if you don't want to start with that, then that's where you can spend XP or real money, which again is no longer an option. Or getting something different.
So Halo 4 achievements and playing Halo 4 unlocked one-time uses of some of these things for me that I had never redeemed, because it came up and said, because of playing Halo 4, you have a one-time redemption of a Spartan laser or a sniper rifle.
Oh, okay.
And some of the boosters.
I think I remember that. Yeah, okay. That's nice. Did you use them?
I did, because I wanted to get a full range, so I made an effort to use every weapon, have a go at every boost. And
okay, cool.
That kind of stuff, just to talk about it later.
You just wanted the achievement.
There was an achievement for it, and I actually did go through and knock out some of the mission-specific achievements today. They're the one for all gold. I'm not going to bother going near, but I might try and grind out some with Krista, because there's a lot of co-op ones. And I appreciate the fact that I remember actually playing it with Aaron, and at the time being being particularly my biggest memory of this game was playing the co-op. Actually being really fun. So I'm actually looking forward to playing it with Krista. It's a total separate campaign where you fight the Flood, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
That is it's not just running through the campaign, which still would have been a cool option. But I like that they did something different. We'll talk about that in the next episode.
Yep.
If you want me to, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, how was because you upgraded to Spartan lasers and rocket launchers. I think I might have done the rocket launcher once, but it didn't seem you don't pick those up naturally as a part of the game at all.
No, they're never drops.
Yeah, so you can't reload at all. How were those weapons? Were they decent?
The sniper rifle, I think, is the best sniper rifle I've ever used in the game. By that I mean I'm like landing shots, and like it's pretty much a one-hit kill on 90% of the things in the game.
Okay.
You get a good bit of ammo for it, which I feel is good considering the fact that you would have theoretically spent money on it. It's shitty in terms of like the redemption process, in terms of you could redeem a weapon, not know the next mission you're about to go into is all in a vehicle, just making that weapon totally redundant, and your purchase is gone. So I found that really annoying. And also, but it does do a thing though that like if you die and you repeat the mission, you still have it, which is good. But if you quit the mission and go back, you've lost your redemption. So
interesting.
So it was doing one good thing and then one bad thing in terms of like, especially when you consider the fact that it was a microtransaction. But I found the sniper was cool. I used it once and I was like, holy shit, I'm awesome at the sniper, because I suck at like every other sniper rifle. So I found that really cool. The Spartan laser is pretty dope. It's pretty supercharged. It's exactly what you think. It feels and plays really well. I will say the rocket launcher had the most ammunition, like way more than I expected, like hundreds of rockets. And each rocket kind of homed in a little bit, but like it fired a lot, but it didn't do as much damage as you would have thought it would have done. Like it might kill a grunt in one hit, but not like the white grunts or like a jackal necessarily. So I thought its damage was a bit off, given the fact that it's the most expensive one to buy. But no, they're okay. Cool enough, nice. Especially when you consider the fact it's only XP you're spending and not real money now. So
yeah, and I think the monetization was turned off. I feel like maybe because it wasn't received very well, but it was also executed. It was a little messy how it was executed. They could have kept monetization in the game if they integrated it differently. I don't like how you had to spend money for like each mission, each upgrade, all that stuff. That's kind of gross. They could have done it a better way. So I'm glad they just turned it off altogether.
Yeah, if they had like a progression system or something like that, where you can regularly have a rocket in your inventory if you get to level 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Then you can just boost your level or something with monetization, and that's pretty normal in mobile games anyway.
And this is in the earlier, like this is like in the middle days of monetization. Like studio developers are still trying to figure out how to make it. How to include it, but also make it fair, and we've come a long way since 2013 on that front.
Definitely.
There are armor abilities. I didn't really use mine at all. I don't know if you guys did. I kept forgetting I had them. There is an active camouflage. There's an auto sentry. There's a hard light shield, a holographic decoy, regeneration field, and a sprint. Oh wait, there's a couple more. Sprint. I see stun blast, repel, and teleport also listed on the Halopedia.
I don't know what teleport or repel is. I didn't see them at all in the game.
Repel, it says, generates an effect similar to that of a cryo bomb. So it must like push people away from you.
I wonder if that's in different versions. Definitely wasn't in the game I played.
Okay, could be.
I tried to go through them all.
So I didn't, like, halfway through the game, I finally figured out how to use it, because there's no like control scheme that you can get to from like inside the game. Weird. So you can't like go like a normal game. You would pause the game, you would go into options, and you'd look at your control scheme. They don't allow you to do that at all. So at one point I was just like pressing all the buttons trying to figure out what does what. And finally I got it. I used stealth a lot to hijack vehicles and decoy a lot for the same reason.
Oh, good call. Yep, that makes sense. In the PC version, you can switch between controller or mouse and keyboard, and so because you can do that, it does show you a mapping of the controls.
Sounds nice.
But I felt more comfortable using a controller, so I did a little on PC and on keyboard and mouse, but controller, it just felt more natural on controller. There's boosters as well, and the boosters are, you can upgrade your shield, you can which means you can take more damage. You can boost your score, which means every kill will give you a higher score for each kill. And then there's also a weapon damage booster, and those are all tied in with the whole monetization / XP purchases. You can also do the skulls, which it sounds like you didn't do any, Chris. David, did you do the skulls?
I had a look at one or two of them, but I didn't really feel the need, because the only reason why you would do them is to get your score multipliers, and I wasn't really going for high scores other than like the few crazy ones I managed to get. So I didn't go near them. It's interesting. I mean, it makes it more Halo. It's got skulls.
Halo always has skulls in it. Yeah, exactly. So in the ones that you can choose from are hollow, which is the Spartan the Spartan only has a shield, which I think means once it's depleted, you're dead. It's kind of like a health bar instead of like when it beeps, I would imagine. I didn't mess around with that one. Pacifist, shields and armor deplete when firing a weapon. That sounds terrible. Famine, dropped weapons have much less ammo. Black eye, shields only recharge from melee attacks. Thunderstorm, enemies are more challenging. And blind, which is vital HUD elements are hidden, which would probably be the easiest one to do. The other thing that is interesting, again, like there's a lot of writing in this if you want to soak it in. Did you notice that the quotes on each kind of loading screen? There's like in-universe characters that had quotes. Did you guys notice that?
No.
I didn't notice that.
Okay. And they actually talk about each mission. And I think there's a couple for each mission. So, for example, one of them that I pulled out was by Corporal Dave Moriarty, and he talks about specifically what happened in that mission, in that operation, in that mission. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it puts you more into the, into the world, into the story. But that's a lot of writing. I mean, there's a lot crammed in here. So if you want to, you can follow along, and it does make it more interesting anyway. So, all right, let's dive into each operation. We'll start with Umbra, since that's the first one. The very first operation, just a quick high level, is you're taking control of Spartan Davis and Palmer, so you alternate between the two. And you're on Draetheus V's. You're on Draetheus V during the Moon attack. So the Moon is attacked by the Covenant, and they're advancing on a research facility called Research Facility Alpha. Which is at the base of this Forerunner structure. So that's where you are to begin with. So let's see here. The Covenant attacks the Moon, right? So we're on the Moon in this first one. So it starts out a little slow, right? The first one is just like repelled. You're just in the middle of this little area, and a bunch of like grunts come at you and some elites. It kind of ramps you up slowly to harder and more interesting missions. Any highlights for you in this first operation, Krista?
No.
No?
Not really. It was very simple.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like the whole operation.
Oh, the entire thing? Oh, yeah.
We're not going to go mission by mission. Like the whole operation, so all 5 of these. Were there any, interesting... the first one's boring, right? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just kind of teaching you how to play. Anything good out of this first operation?
Yeah. So in A3... it's really fun because you get to escort Wolverines, right?
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is that the Wolverines can run you over and murder you. And you get an instant game over. That was fun. I had a lot of fun with that.
Getting murdered
I'm
by
like,
Wolverines.
what is going on? Why is that a thing? Yeah, they just slammed me. Maybe it's because you play on Davis on that mission and they just can't be bothered.
It's interesting though. It's fun to see because we're just coming off of Halo Wars, so it's fun to see vehicles that we don't really see very often in the mainline Halo games, but we're seeing them here, right? So you see Wolverines, you see a couple other. There's a Grizzly at one point. So
this game gives you a good scale of them as well, next to a Spartan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. So Wolverine was a highlight for you. Anything else, Krista?
The Wraith was fun. On the 5th one, Last Stand. I didn't realize you get like 10 seconds to board the Hornet at the end. And by the time I realized I needed to board the Hornet, there was no way I was going to make it to the Hornet, so I had to play the mission over again.
Oh, that sucks.
That happened to me a few times where the objective would suddenly change to a countdown timer or to a thing that I hadn't a clue where it was, and I was like, oh man. And then sometimes I even forgot about the timer, and I failed missions just by constantly killing enemies when I was supposed to be evacuating. That happened a few times throughout the different missions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. Anything else stand out, or just want to piggyback on, David?
Not really. I liked the mission structure's kind of good enough, like in terms of like they're short, simple little missions. The environment
just a couple minutes cool. Each.
Yeah, I like the swiftness of it. Not the game overall, really, but I do enjoy that you can just bang them out real quick.
Mm-hmm. Did you use melee attack at all?
A good few times actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay.
I did. I especially against like jackals and stuff like that, and I tried to like I was switching weapons all the time. So when you later in the game when you get like brute shots and stuff, they're real fun.
I kept finding myself.
Used melee.
Yeah, I barely use it either. I kept finding myself like shooting because I just don't play a lot of twin stick shooters. So I was shooting like where the elite was, but then he kept like drifting off to the side. So I kept following him with my fire until he stopped, and then I would hit him. Like I was having a hard time leading them as because they move around quite a bit. All of the enemies, and eventually when you get to use vehicles too. Same thing. It was fun playing as the Wraith and just kind of gliding around and being able to use the plasma cannon. That was a good time. And to your point, David, like the missions they're not huge, but they're interesting enough. There's in some spots there's little sideways to go and little places to explore. I would have liked it if there was collectibles throughout. I think that would have made it a little more interesting. Maybe we can talk about some of our enhancement ideas in the recap episode. But it's fun enough, and it does ramp up. That's the other thing is this first operation is really just kind of teaching you how to play the game, giving you a couple interesting, fun options. But there's more fun to come. I do remember distinctly, Krista, that the Last Stand mission with Palmer.
Yeah.
For some reason, that one stuck out of my head too. I don't know why specifically, but I was like, oh, okay, I remember this one specifically. Maybe because it's like a larger little defense pad, and you get to run around and do the turrets, which is pretty fun. And then there is the countdown timer, so there's a little sense of urgency.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. It was just like waves and waves, and you kind of just get to hang out and just murder things without having to think too much about moving around.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on to Tempered Shield, the second operation. So as I mentioned, we were on the moon, X-50, and now Palmer hops on a Pelican and retreats down to Draetheus V to help repel the invasion on the planet. Meanwhile, Davis stays on the moon, and so now all these missions are Palmer missions. David, anything on this next wave of missions that stood out to you? I think you start with a defense one, right? Where all those grunts are coming at you, the suicide grunts.
Yeah.
And you can hop on a turret.
That's fun. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked getting to use the turrets. They're pretty cool. Very inaccurate, but
yeah,
they are pretty fun. I like the turrets were cool. From the rest of the operation, I can't really remember too much of it. Like nothing really jumps out. I can't remember if there's vehicles in this one yet.
There's another one where you go around. There's Wolverines stationed around. That's the next one, and you have to like run up and kind of defend their location. That's the next one. Then you also hunt through like the space woods on the third one.
That was cool.
And,
I liked that.
Yeah, that one's pretty decent.
Where all the jackals are introduced.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. That was fun.
The jackals are so annoying.
Jackals are annoying.
They are. They take way too much damage, I feel like.
Yeah,
Their
well,
shields
you can't use your usual like whatever strategy you have with jackals. Yeah, you can't make you have to get behind them, but there's no way to stagger them when they're in front of you.
Yeah, only thing that uses like plasma pistol charged up can take down their shield in one go.
Okay.
I used grenades a lot of the time. Is how I really did.
Yeah, grenades is my most used weapon in this game.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
they're really effective.
And one fun piece of trivia is that this is the first time and probably the only time where jackals use and drop grenades.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay, sure. I guess I didn't notice them using
and they
them,
have a melee attack, which is like something they not do.
They do, and it kind of hurts a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Did you guys have? Did you guys die very often? Were there any missions where you just like were trying over and over and over again?
I was very bullish on a lot of things.
Okay.
A lot of weapons, I would end up using crap weapons, or not finding the right weapons at the right time, or I didn't really like some of the stuff you had, the boosts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely died, and some of the sword stealth thing Heelys definitely got me a few times.
Oh sure, yeah, they get there gets to be quite a few of those towards the end.
It seems to be kind of glitchy. Like I'd have a shotgun, and I like the shotgun in this game, but it seems that sometimes if the enemy is too close to you, like on top of you, you'll miss by shooting. And I died a number of times because an enemy was on top of me, meleeing me while I was trying to shoot them point blank with a shotgun, and I missed. It was really annoying.
So there's no, I mean, outside of if you do, I guess, buy the sniper rifle, there's no real headshots. And talking about jackals, like that's a big, when you're playing the first person shooter version of Halo, the good version of Halo, is that, you know, you're going for headshots quite a bit. And the sniper rifle is the only one hit kill, right? Other than a grenade.
Yeah.
So, Chris, how did that mess with your mind at all that you couldn't headshot?
Oh yeah, a bit. I used a lot more automatic weapons than I would use in the first-person shooters, but it's a twin stick. You just kind of have to go with what you have.
I liked the needler a lot. Did you guys have fun with the needler?
Yes, I did.
So much fun.
Towards the end, I was like, just give me that needler and I'll just melt these guys. Felt really good. The other mission that stood out to me in this operation here is when you, because we do come back to this one at one point, is when you go across the bridge with the Wraith. Well, no, you fight your way across the bridge, and there's like, what do they call them? Mega turrets. So there's mega turrets like are pummeling this bridge that you're trying to get across, because the story of it is you're trying to clear the path for your tanks, your Scorpion tanks, to come over and help, help take over this, the assault that the Covenant is, to stop the Covenant. So they're trying to take over this bridge here. You run across it, and so you clear that out, and then you hop in a Wraith for a little while and have a little, Wraithy fun. You also see, and we didn't talk about this yet, there's not a skybox in this game. There's like a floor box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or you see off in the distance when you're on a ledge or like across this bridge, and you see a bunch of fighting or vehicles going down below you. I think that is really well done. Like the one I'm watching right now, I think it's the mission I just described with when you're going across the bridge, you can see banshees chasing hawks in the background. It's pretty cool. Let's see here, the last one and this one. It's battle at the Red Slate. Palmer and all my notes are hop on a Scorpion and destroy the race. Oh yeah, you get to do the Scorpion on the final mission, which is fun.
All I will say is the controls suck.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Controlling these vehicles.
Oh, I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
Well, the Scorpion specifically, I felt I had the hardest time with that one.
The Wraith is weird too, because it's your little turret
that
turns the Wraith and not like actually turning the Wraith. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how this would be. I guess it'd probably be similar difficulty with the iPad or the tablet version of this. But yeah, had some frustrations there myself. All right, so the next operation is Operation Monolith, and this is where we discover like the big bad guy. I think it's back on the moon. So X50 is discovered. This is where X50 is discovered to be a Forerunner creation that can build and destroy entire planets. Did you guys have any, I don't know, feelings when they, because that's the first movie, like the little intro movie, and they described that. Did you guys think anything of that? Like, oh God, this is something that I forgot even existed in the Halo universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember what the story was about, so I'm like, oh, of course there's a giant Forerunner bad machine. That's great.
Standard Halo fare.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we have to stop them, otherwise they're gonna kill us all. The other frustrating thing, so a couple of frustrations with the writing of this. Again, there's a lot of it, but there are some omissions. Like this world building and destroying thing doesn't have a name. They never give it a name. It's just the structure.
It's just X50 or whatever. The moon skin.
Yeah, it's the moon weapon thing. So I don't know, I feel like that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. The next mission starts with ODSTs, David.
Oh no.
Yes.
Are you into that?
Yeah, I was, my first comment I seen this was like, oh my god, this is cool, there's ODSTs in this. But like, they're nowhere near as cool as they should be. They're just a standard colored marine model, which is really disappointing.
Yeah.
I thought they really should have been black armor. They should have been better, I think. I like the idea of it was cool, and it was. cooler later on in the game where you actually see Palmer come down in a pod and come out. That was cool. I think they absolutely missed a treat here of having some kind of mini game where you're controlling the pod. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's asking too much of a twin stick shooter, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Missed opportunity with them. It was cool to see them. I think in the second mission is where they actually crash down. But you just run around and see them in the pods, and yeah, they're just kind of boring. They don't really help you that much. They help you, but not a whole lot. Any other highlights? So this whole thing, you're trying to work your way to turn off, which is I actually like this whole this operation because you're picking up ODSTs along the way, and then you are at one point you have to go. I think, do you save the snipers first, and then put them into their location?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's 2 different missions.
Okay, and then so you have snipers following you around later on in the operation. You put them in their different spots, and then in the final mission, you actually can use those snipers. So you're down below, and every once in a while they'll just come in and take out an elite for you, which is pretty solid. Krista, any highlights for you on this operation?
For C3, all my notes say are there's like a million wraiths, so I'm guessing that's good.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You can hijack them. You start down, and this is where I first realized you can hijack the race.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do that before.
It's really easy too. Oh my goodness. It's really easy.
I did get run over a couple times. But
especially if you have either decoy or stealth, you can just grab them. It's just like, okay, just casually walk up to them, grab them. It's all good. I thought that C5 was pretty good. Energy Brutes, it's really fun.
Yeah, the Brutes are fun. So that one's called Superstructure Standoff, and so they show up at the end and cause some problems.
And it's one of those defense missions, but it's not super bad. Every time you see a defense mission, it's like, oh, I gotta defend someone.
Yeah, I would rather kind of progress towards an end goal versus do like a little tower defense moment. But
it wasn't that bad though. It was enjoyable enough. It wasn't frustrating.
Or if you could at least like defend one spot, like towards the end, there's one where you would defend one spot and then you move to another spot to defend. So I like those ones a lot better. But yeah, this one is interesting because it progresses. I think maybe in the C3 one. Let's see. You do pick up an engineer. Yeah, you save an engineer in the second one, and then that engineer is the guy that you need to use towards the end of the mission that like turns off the big weapon that doesn't have a name.
Yep.
I had a brief moment of, oh shit, there's engineers in this game, and then went, oh no.
Yeah.
Just a bloke. Just a dude.
Stupid dude. Doesn't have any kind of weird tentacles or anything.
Like, you ain't no engineer. You take 2 minutes to turn the thing off. What are you?
It'll take him 2 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and they do call them, engineers, and then they also call them technicians. So I don't know if they're the same or if they're just using interchangeable words there to describe them or what. But yeah, and I do like the end because you're defending them. I like how you defend him, and he can take damage. So if he dies, then the mission's over with. But then there's a bunch of like drones coming in and whatnot. That's a pain in the ass. And then he actually goes away. So he does his job, and then he pieces out. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. And then you just have to defend it while the structure gets shut down. But the structure doesn't get shut down soon enough because this giant weapon fires down into Draetheus V, and then the planet starts to break apart, which is pretty wild. So that's the start of the next one, is Operation Captured Chance. The plan, as I just said, like the weapon's still fired down to the planet, and so now we're back down on Draetheus V, and these are back to all Palmer missions. And little do we know is that we never go back and play as Davis anymore.
No, he just dies off screen.
Yeah. So in the beginning intro of the next one, they talk about that, but it's a little bizarre that they don't explain that, or you don't just play that mission or play that through. So, oh well, R.I.P. Spartan Davis.
What a loser.
It was fun while it lasted. All right. Anything on the next 5 missions that stood out to you guys? It starts out pretty interesting because you're back on Draetheus V, and then you have to blow up this wall right away, which I thought was kind of cool. You destroy the main gate, and then there's a bunch of jump pack brutes that come down, and then you have to destroy an armory to get some jetpacks, and then you throw in your jetpack.
This is like the shortest mission in this game. Like, there's an achievement on this that I actually went back and did. It's only using melee, only using a brute shot, or using grenades. So like, I did that just by like meleeing the enemies here, throwing my grenade to the door, and a brute came in. I meleeed him to death, picked up his brute shot, ran up to the next door, used grenades and that brute shot to open it in, and I was gone. And it was just like, Jesus, that was it. It's just so easy.
Yeah, you only have to do those 2 things in the whole mission. So this whole mission is actually, Palmer is back down on Draetheus V, and she is more or less saying Draetheus V is getting destroyed. You can actually see in the floor box how it's all molten and breaking apart. But she comes up with the idea. There's not enough evacuation vehicles or pelicans, however we're going to get everybody off of this planet. There's not enough, so she comes up with the idea to hijack Covenant spirits to get everybody off, which is kind of cool, right? Again,
it is cool. Yeah,
you kind of have to seek that out. Like, it's there, it's in the game, and they show the spirits at the end, but the fact that she kind of comes up with this plan, it's not really well portrayed. I guess it's in there, but it's not. I feel like that almost should have been the intro cutscene, more about that. So anyway, any other highlights for you, Krista?
I'm disappointed we've gone this far without mentioning the Grizzlies.
Have we even got the Grizzly mission?
I don't think we got to them yet.
No, we're on D, right?
Yeah, we're on D, so they are in this one. Yep.
Yeah, they're the third
They're
one.
in D. Yeah.
Okay, absolute highlight. Grizzly was amazing.
Grizzlies! I was so happy. And you get to blow up so much stuff with them. It's great.
Everything dies with more or less one shot. It's glorious.
It's beautiful.
They're just as difficult to drive as the Scorpions, but they are ultra powerful. And they look beautiful. And it's a little homage to Ford, right? It's good.
No.
There's a lot of I think there's a lot of Halo Wars in this game.
Yes.
And the vehicles they use, and even some of the mission structure, where there's a mission where you have to stand and wait for a pelican to fill up while it flies off, move to another pelican, wait for people to fill up, defend those people. I can't remember which mission that is, but it's very much like Arcadia City in Halo Wars 1, where you're waiting for ships to fill up with people.
Yeah, that's the last one on this one. Yep,
is it the last one on this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stood out. I was like, holy shit, this is just like Halo Wars, but all the tie-ins to the Halo Wars vehicles, like Wolverines and Grizzlies and stuff.
And if too many colonists die, you automatically lose too, which is nice. Gives you some stakes to actually care about them.
Yeah, exactly. What else is there? How did you guys like driving the ghosts? Because there's a ghost that you more or less is given to you.
They take some getting used to, but they're pretty OP.
Yeah. I picked up the ghost whenever I could. In this
they take
game,
down wraiths pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
they do. Yeah.
But then they're also pretty weak, so you really have to avoid that fire from turrets or other ghosts that get taken down pretty quick. I replayed. Let's see what mission is. I think it's 3. No, it must be 4. Yeah, we played 4. No, that's the elephant one. Okay. Anyway, the mission that has the ghost in, I had to replay quite a bit because it kept getting blown up by a grenade. So I was like, oh fuck! I was halfway through it and then it kept getting blown up. So, I think it's the one where you rescue the 3 different groups of Marines. That's the one. You kind of go around, and then you finally get a ghost towards the end. And I was like, oh yeah, let's hop in this bad boy, and then I just get shot down. But
and then I died.
And then I get blown up halfway through. So the Grizzly's fun, and then what do you think about the elephant one in this? You see the elephant up ahead, and then you're defending its butt.
It's okay.
Yeah. I didn't really recognize it, to be honest. If you hadn't have told me it was an elephant, I don't know if I would have copped on. That is an elephant there.
So the elephant, and the elephant has all of the Marines that you're saving on Draetheus V. So you're gonna load them all up onto here, and then the next mission after this, after you defend the elephant, is where you're loading everybody into a spirit to get them off of Draetheus V. And that one was cool. It's fun to see the spirit and the Marines getting onto the spirit, right? And then just having the turret. The turret just melts people. It felt pretty good about that. Did either of you save all the Marines without getting any kills? Or have any of them die?
No.
I think one died.
I got one or
I
two.
can't remember.
I was doing really good on the top end of this mission. I was like, oh, okay, I have 0 deaths. And then all of a sudden, when I had to move down to the bottom, that's where I got a little funky. And I think I ended like 3 or 4 dying. So I'm sure there's an achievement tied to saving them all.
There isn't.
Though there isn't?
No.
You probably would have done it then, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I took a
It
quick look
feels
to
like a
see.
natural one.
It does. It feels like there should be one, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so from the story standpoint, we get all the Marines onto the Spirit, and then we take them somewhere. It doesn't really tell you where. Maybe somewhere else on Draetheus V that's not getting blown up.
Probably
directly.
off planet.
You would think it's off planet. So then, from a story standpoint, I guess this is my longest one because it ties everything together. So Spartan Davis is dead.
Oh.
Boo! Oh, poor Davis.
Yeah, and it
He
just
barely got to know you.
It just throws that at you. It's like, oh yeah, he's dead.
He's
Like, okay,
dead now.
dead.
Oh, okay.
And so Spartan. This is where things get a little more confusing. So Spartan Palmer stole the Spirit dropships to then get people to safety wherever they get to, and now we and they might have mentioned the Covenant leader, the religious guy. His name's Mergval.
I think they just mention it now. So you go through
Okay.
the entire game not knowing the antagonist until now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then they throw Mergval at you, and they also throw Pargval at you.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
So I'm like, why? Why would you, as a writer, make them both as a part of like the same? What do they call them in Singhili?
Clans? No.
Yeah.
Keeps.
Keeps. Like, just give me a different keep, please. Like, because I was reading the description, I was like, wait a minute, Mergval's the bad guy, and all of a sudden in the description, I was like, it's talking about Pargval and having to steal his command ship. I was like, I don't know, this is a little ridiculous.
Parg was like Merg's second in command or something like that.
Yeah, he's like the commander. Merg is just like the religious, like the head, and then Parg is like the commander. And then Parg actually does. I looked at his bio. He does make it into some extended lore as well outside of this, because we don't kill him, we kill Merg.
No, we just steal his shit and leave.
Exactly. So the theory on this is Mergval knows that we stole a spirit ship. So the only way to get close to Merg is to use one of the Covenant ships to get back onto X50, back onto the moon, to confront him. And in the descriptions it says Merg knows that you have a Covenant ship, so he shoots down all of the Covenant ships outside besides the commanders, Pargval's commanding ships. And the ships
Extreme,
are,
but
they're
okay.
just phantoms. Yeah.
That'll do
So
it.
more or less, he's saying, "Come at me." He's like, I know you're coming for me. Let's do this." That's how I read the description. I don't know if you guys got a different take from it, but yeah. So you have to you must use a spirit to go off and then land near Pargval's command post. Then you steal his phantom, and then you use that phantom to go and track down Mergval and then murder him.
Hooray!
If that's not confusing at all.
Good job, Colin.
Yeah.
Murder.
Any standouts from the last operation from a gameplay standpoint?
Look at my notes.
The boss kill was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's the most notable thing about
Yeah.
this whole thing is the boss was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so so Merg, he's got a big old shield that you have to take down, and then when you take his shield down, he goes to the center console, and this center console is actually the same one that we had in the third operation, where the engineer like shuts everything down. It's that same, but it's flipped, so you can now up is down, down's up. So you see that center little console there, and I think is there a plasma grenade that like keeps regenerating in that middle console? Did you
Yes.
guys
I
notice
think
that
so.
too?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so you can you always have a plasma grenade to hook at him. But you take down his shield all the way, then he goes to the center reach, then he quadruples or he multiplies into 4 different versions of himself. He goes off to these little stations, recharges, and then one of them is the real one, the real Merg, and then you have to take him down a couple more times. So it's kind of the classic trope of threes for video games here. So you take him down 3 times, then you finally can murder him. The second time, so the first time he's just regular little Merg. The second time he is dual energy sword.
Oh
Merg.
my god, like one shot kill dual energy G sword Merg. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He just yeets the hell out of you.
Yeah, and he's pretty fast, so it's hard to get away from him.
This mission does give you like the run fast. I don't know what it's called.
Oh,
like
yeah,
ability. I used that a lot when he had the dual energy swords.
That's a good idea. And then the last one, he gets one of those Forerunner shields that are usually put out there by who are those little annoying floaty guys in Halo 4 again?
Watchers?
Yeah, the Watchers. He gets one of those in front of
The
him.
hard light shields, he gets the hard light shield.
Hard light shield, yeah.
I think they should have switched the two. I think the swords should have been the last one and the shields should have been the second one.
Yeah, that would have made more sense to me, because then he's like ultra aggressive in the last one.
Yeah, because the swords is the way more badass upgrade, and the shield's just like, I'm just gonna sit here and let you shoot at my shield, I guess.
Right. What did you think of the final like kill animation?
I
Any thoughts on
didn't
that?
realize you had to do that right away.
Yeah.
And so he was just crawling around on the floor, and I'm like, what the hell is up with that? And I went over to him, and I saw the pistol icon, and I'm like, I don't want to pick up a pistol. And then I realized, oh, you have to shoot him in the face.
You just shoot him in the dome, yeah. So you murder him.
I liked it. It just, there should have been a little more. I know the like little text on the side of the screen updates, but you don't look at that a lot during this game. So I wish there was more of a thing above his head or something
Prompt.
like that.
Yeah, I wish there was a whole mechanic around assassinations in this game.
Oh, that would have
would
been
be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, assassinations would have been cool. Good point. Like hop on their back and stab them
Yeah.
or something.
100%. I mean, you have the stealth like thing. You have what else have we got? You decoys. Like you have things.
Decoys, yeah. Mhm.
I've snuck up on enemies and hit them, but like there's no assassination kills. Do you know what I mean? It gives you an assassination medal, but all that means is it's a melee kill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't like one shot enemies from behind other than like the lowest level grunts,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is annoying. And I tried.
Let's see, a couple of the other missions. The one where you're hunting through the space woods again, and you're hunting down his lieutenants, that one was pretty good. So you go through, and there's a bunch of stealth elites in the woods.
Oh, yeah, and there's like a wraith halfway through.
Yep. And then one of them is in there's a wraith halfway through. There's some ghosts partway through. It's kind of long. It's spread out. You have to hunt them down quite a bit. And then the way it ends is one of them is in like a fuel rod turret. So you destroy the fuel rod turret, and then he pops out and you kill him. And then there might be another one around there too. I think you gotta kill 6 of them. So that one was decent. I think that was the one right before this one. And seeing the Phantom, I thought it was interesting the way that they wrote it to say, oh, we're stealing Covenant ships, which we've only really done in ODST, is that right?
Yeah.
Or we're using the ships. Well, I guess we didn't see E2. We wrote a
Banshee.
spirit dropship.
Yeah, and a Banshee.
Well, Banshee, yeah. So we've done that a little bit, but I like how they're bringing that back. Is they're saying, we don't have enough resources to do everything we need, so let's steal their ship. All right. That's pretty good. Any other overall thoughts on the game? What we'll do, so as we said, this is the main operation. We murder Merg, but there is an additional mission that does have a little Davis tie-in. We'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about co-op next time, and then we'll kind of recap our overall thoughts. But so anything else on just the gameplay you guys want to mention?
It's really, really enjoyable. I think the missions are well timed to just kind of sit down and play something really quick and then go on with the rest of your day.
Yeah. Did you sit down and play it for long periods, or just do a couple missions here and then
I
move on?
marathoned the entire game.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, which wasn't the ideal way to do it, because when you're marathoning it and you're in and out of missions constantly, it gets a little, I don't want to say annoying, but tedious.
Yeah.
It's definitely supposed to be played, I have 5 minutes before I have to go to work or do this or do that. I'm going to sit down and play a quick round of, Spartan Assault, and then I'll be on my way and go do whatever I need to do next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. David, how about you?
I played it in 2 sessions, 2 days ago and today. They kind of blur together when you play them all.
Yeah.
I think overall they're well timed. It is super fast. I like how it hits because otherwise it probably would get pretty repetitive. Because like there aren't a lot of kind of mission types. It is like go to this guy, kill a thing, stand in this area, defend the thing. That's pretty much it. There's no major interactions. There's a fine spread of weapons and vehicles in this, which I was pretty impressed with, especially the second time around. In terms of like Covenant, and like they all sound really good, and you know they play really well. Like the pistol is actually pretty cool as well, and I don't know. Yeah, I like the AI of the enemies. It's pretty good. The different types of elites, different types of grunts, and they do different things. And there's a lot of Halo in this game. I think it is really well made. I definitely shit on it when it first came out, but even just running through it again and blasting through the campaign, it's quite enjoyable. Enough for me to even go back and try and knock out some achievables and stuff like that, which I wasn't expecting to do. So this game is definitely.
So why do you think it wasn't appealing? Because I mean, you probably played it, but you don't have really fond memories of it. Is it because it was so short, or just because it was a mobile game? It wasn't the monetization aspect of it.
It's probably a combination of I'm not big into twin stick shooters anyway. And it's the format style, the stupid lady in it, the microtransactions. I remember not liking the microtransaction part of it a lot, and not that it bothered me. You know, I just remember I disliked it for that. I must have just blasted through this game in one go. I'm like, yeah, I've played it. Now I'm done. But actually, I think it's aged really well. You know, it's a fun game. It's on Game Pass. Pick it up, spend an hour or two just blasting through. I mean, I imagine the co-op's pretty damn fun too. If you have someone with you, so and it looks like they had these weekly challenges and they had some kind of ongoing leaderboard support, which is more than you expect. But I think that's probably a lot of mobile games have that kind of element, don't they? Of like a leaderboard kind of stack tracking kind of stuff. To kind of engage you and get you the replay and stuff like that and get better scores. But all in all, not a bad attempt today.
Yeah, it's a good little package, I think. As you said, you know, the Halo, Halo is integrated, you know, obviously throughout very well. Nothing is there that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it was clearly, it's not like a mobile game that has a Halo skin on it. It's a very, very Halo game. I feel like there are some tweaks, and maybe we talk about that in the next, the recap episode that we talk about next, like some enhancements that they could have made. And you know, if we ever see one again, well, we do see one again. We see Spartan Strike, so we can, you know, maybe we can talk about that. And I haven't revisited that game in a while, so we can talk about some thoughts and see if they do integrate that stuff. But yeah, I'm happy with it overall. I did get a little bit of maybe I should just go and get gold on all these.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I just don't know if I want to sit down and spend the time grinding it out. So I might at some point. You know, it's an enjoyable enough experience too. And
what I'm thinking, it might be doable with like some of the boost. There is a boost for score and a boost for damage, and those are probably worth spending your XP on. Yeah. If you did want to game them, because very often I found myself quite close. Like I was just running super fast through the game. And that's really how you do it, because that shortens your time between kills, which allows you to keep up your combo, which gets you the higher scores. And there's a big bonus for completing these missions on times. So like that was pretty much how I got some of the most crazy scores I got. I was literally just keeping my combo going. So every kill I was getting was like a killionaire. Yeah. I think do you know what I mean? So it was like I was killing a grunt and getting a killionaire, like, and getting a massive amount of points for that. And that really allows you to, and that wasn't using any boosts. And there's probably one or two skulls that are probably simple enough that aren't huge gameplay impacted, so give you that little boost again. I think there was one or two that I definitely got bronze on still, and I think they were like the end missions where you fight a boss. And I was like, how the hell are you supposed to get like 85,000 when there's like maybe 3 enemies on the map or some shit? You know?
Yeah, right.
So some of them I think might be a bit bullshitty. So I was kind of like, no, I wouldn't bother grinding or looking up YouTube solutions for them.
Did you jump on the turrets ever?
Yeah. Once or twice.
Okay.
They're pretty nice.
I did a little bit, but yeah, they do a lot of damage, but then they're like slow to move around, and you're not in them for very long. You know, just hop in them. If you haven't cleared out all the enemies. You hop in, clear out a couple, and then you just kind of move on from there. I did look up quickly the other writers, so Brian Reed and then Jeremy Patno. He's the other, and he's I don't know if he's still with 343, but he was one of the main writers at the time. So just wanted to give him a little bit of credit. So, overall the lore inside of it is solid enough, and I appreciate it because it's more Palmer.
Boo.
All right, let's do trivia. Any other trivia we didn't hit on?
One or two very small bits. There wasn't a whole lot. So it was like, despite appearing on the cover art, hunters and skirmishers are not encountered in the game. Curiously, the skirmisher in the background, either a commando or a champion, carries a jackal shield. When shot, the drones make the same noises that the engineers make in Halo 3 ODST and Halo Reach.
I was so
I didn't
confused.
notice that at all. Yeah, I didn't notice that. You said the jackal thing, and the first mission's briefing screen and the opening cutscene for Mission 9 depict Ungagi and Sanghili in their Halo 3 likenesses, whereas they resemble their Halo Reach counterparts in the gameplay. The briefing screen for Mission 17 clearly shows army troopers evidenced by their BDUs and M837 assault rifles, despite the briefing clearly identifying them defenders as Marines. So that's pretty much it. Just a few inconsistencies.
Yeah. Yep, and we're not too worked up by that stuff, but it's just interesting to know. Cool. Let's do some community stuff. David, do you have a Facebook up? Otherwise, Chris can go first.
I am ready. You said that, Colin, like I'm never ready. Just like maybe a handful of times I haven't been ready.
Well, you're...
All right.
Sometimes when we skip the intel, then I figure you might... That's when you usually look it up. So, anyway. Go for it. Describe Halo Spartan Assault in 5 words or less. Question from Mission Debrief, Spartan Assault, missions A through E. This is from Colin Perkins, the admin mail in tonight. Ryan Jones says, push stick to shoot. That's good.
That's really good. Dave McLaughlin says, great cover art, likey Spartans. Chris Rolla, put on Switch, cowards. That's pretty good. Jesse says, fun, repetitive, Sparty, shoot. Colin, this is one of your better questions, man. I'm really enjoying this. Lance says, why are we Palmer? Excellent. Yes. The Nick winning.
God damn it.
Love this remark. Love. Good job, Lance. Ian Francis says, MacGuffin. Timothy says, stupid mobile, release on console. So he says this was a Spartan strike problem. Sorry.
Yeah.
Manny says, not even free did I play. Which is a bit mean. It's alright, Manny. Go in there, get some Chivos. Like, it's good. It's worth your time. Martin says, I hate Spartan Palmer. I'm going to give you a good old fat light there, Marty. Good job. Matthew says, purchase Microsoft tablet to play, which seems ridiculous. Maybe you're getting mixed up with Strike. I'm not sure. Chris Niall says, good for a bit. I like it. Insane for a mobile game. Ooh, Storm.
All right.
I'm liking the rhyme.
Into
there you go. You're going to like it. Chad says, all Halo games are Halo. Halo can be small too.
Aww.
There you go.
See,
that's positive. I like
a
that.
Halo game for every genre. Look at you, Chad. You're a nice guy. Chad. You're getting one like that new care emoji. Chad.
Oh yeah, the huggy one.
There you go, Chad. And finally, Eduardo says, Halo we did not need. Oh, bro. Wait, we didn't need it.
Dislike.
Yeah.
We didn't need it, but we're happy we have it.
Yeah, we are happy. We're happy now that we're revisiting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't remember
like
being super hyped for the game, but I don't remember hating it. But then I guess, I don't know.
I've heard you shit on it quite a bit.
I shit on it quite a bit, yeah. I feel bad. It was fun.
Alright, what's Discord have to say?
Alright, same question for Discord. Axel says, wish it was on Android. King Big Beard says, thought you were taller, shoots. Matthew Salvatore says, I thought it was excellent. Hector Elite says, I need to get good. Spartan B312 says, saw it in Apple Store. King Big Beard says, why are hunters so big?
That's from the cover art.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
It's like, what? Pope says, not bad, but not great. Let's see. Real Min Shady says, I haven't played it yet. Jedi Spartan says, Palmer shouldn't be the focus.
Damn it.
Stark says, good idea, bad execution. Spartan Tundra says, Palmer beats up fat alien. And finally, Dizzy Bumper says, Green Virgin isn't in it.
Who's the Green Virgin?
It's Master Chief.
Master Chief.
Oh.
It's a virgin and he's green.
That Discord must be on that. I completely missed that.
It's
Funny.
kind of a meme.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, that will do it for our debriefing of the main campaign from Spartan Assault. On the next episode, we'll be covering the additional mission titled Hydra, the co-op mode, and recapping our thoughts on the game. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. And don't forget that free audiobook trial. Visit audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. Until next time, evolve.
Evolved! Yay!